Hello, happy Monday. This is Julie with Balance Life with Julie, regenerative health practitioner and holistic nutritionist. So I come on live every single Monday to answer questions and to just kind of be here in case there's any live questions as well. So today, what I wanted to do is I got a question the other day regarding chemo. And for anybody who doesn't know what regenerative health is, I'm just scrolling to find the question. For anyone who doesn't know what regenerative health is really focused on addressing the root causes of chronic disease within the body. And it really focuses on the premise that our body is capable of healing itself. It simply needs to be given the proper tools and the proper support. And unfortunately, we live in a world where most people don't know much about, number one, they don't know how their body works. Number two, they don't know how to properly nourish and hydrate themselves. And so most of the chronic diseases or diseases that we're seeing is really as a result of poor diet, poor lifestyle. And so the focus on regenerative health is removing the barriers for chronic for health in the body. So personally, I look at, like, what does the cell need? The cell needs proper nourishment. It needs proper hydration. We need mitochondrial function. We need to make sure that there is, proper there isn't a lot of contamination in the environment around the cell and within the cell. And if we can create that type of environment, then the body would be healthy. So somebody asked me the other day, she had a son who went through chemo, and she did not realize that after cancer treatment that it was really, really important for her son to detoxify. He's in his late teens now. So detoxification from chemo and from radiation is really, really important because the pH of chemo is 1. So that is really, really acidic. We're supposed to stay more neutral, right? Like the scale goes from 1 to 14. We're supposed to be kind of in the neutral range, around 7 pH, ideally. And all of our different organs and tissues are more on the alkaline side of chemistry, not on the acidic side of chemistry. So chemo itself is so toxic to the body that I actually know somebody who has 2 chemotherapy drugs on the market, and it is so toxic to the body that he actually has this on the market as well. And this removes chemicals, heavy metals, things like chemo out of the body. And it's not that this cures the body itself and whatever imbalance it's going on. This is really on the premise that if the environment around the cell is clean, the body can heal itself. It really is about removing the barriers to health within the body. And I was actually thinking about this last night. Like, we are in such a toxic environment, and a lot of people, we're just kind of taught to ignore it, right? And I ignored it until I really number one, when I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. Finally, I was forced to actually look at what was I doing in terms of my diet, my lifestyle, what kind of chemical toxicity was I exposing myself to. And then I really had to become a lot more aware and start to, number one, reduce the toxic load coming into my body. And then number two is change over a lot of the products that I had been using and shift instead to non-toxic options. And all those things actually exist right now. Like, as I've been watching all of the stuff that's been playing out there, and there's like this big narrative, like, oh, the food system is so toxic. Yes, the food system is very toxic, yet there are also solutions. And if you look for the solutions, you will find the solutions. Simply stop putting your energy, your effort, your money into the things that are toxic. and switch over to the things that are non-toxic. The solution is actually quite straightforward and simple. So what I shared with this mother is that it is really, really important for her son to detoxify post chemo. And obviously, we would also want to optimize his diet. The thing with any chronic illness within the body, doesn't matter what it is. I know you've heard me say it before. Parasites. The presence of parasites, you have to address parasites. And I said this on the call on the live last week. I spoke with one of my partners, one of the companies that I'm affiliated with. They actually have things for mitochondrial support, for gut support, for detoxification. And, in his opinion, absolutely everybody has parasites. Hang on, I think I'm going to sneeze. Whew, it was the tiniest sneeze. This is what makes lives so much fun, because you don't know when that's gonna happen. And so, yeah, he's like, if you have a pulse, you have parasites. And this is something that's not talked about. And some people get super, super grossed out about it. And I talk about parasites a lot because in every single one of my protocols, we have to address parasites. Like if you're wanting your body to be healthy, you need to get the parasites out. And anytime you're dealing with cancer or autoimmune conditions or any type of chronic health issue, the reason that we know that there's a presence of parasites is that the body is so toxic, it is so acidic that it is the perfect place for parasites to hang out. They love to hang out in an acidic, toxic, lymphatically stagnant environment. That's what they love, you know? So becoming aware of that and really understanding that it is important to alkalize your body in order and alkalize it and also support detoxification. And then detoxification isn't something that you do just a couple times a year. Like, for example, for myself, I take this every single day, multiple times a day. I take a couple other things for detoxification as well. And that's because I'm aware that the environment that I'm in is going to be toxic, no matter how much I may try to have my home be as clean as possible. There's who knows what that's off gassing. And a lot of people don't really think about that. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about, I mentioned last week, I wanted to talk about getting my amalgams out. And I got them out on the 1st. So the final 2 amalgams on the left side, upper and lower, they came out on November 1st. And the dentist right away pulled me aside afterwards. And she said, it's really, really important that you continue detoxification because whatever was disturbed over the years, whatever mercury was disturbed, it would have gone deep into the cells, the tissues, the organs, right? And so I said, well, as luck would have it, I do understand detoxification quite well because this is literally what I do for work. And the reason that I want to talk about getting the fillings out is even if you're someone who is not dealing with fillings, maybe you don't have fillings, maybe you have implants, maybe you do injectables, maybe you do other things that are putting things that are not of your body into your body. And it is really, really important to, number one, always ask the question, what is that thing that you're putting into your body? What is it made of? And then number 2, it's also important to become aware of any time that we put something foreign into our body, it triggers our immune system. Our immune system recognizes that there's something that is not of our body that is in our body, and it's going to be on hyper alert. And the thing that I deal with the most is usually women who have implants and they have all of these mysterious symptoms. And I always I always try to encourage them to actually think about getting the implants removed because what's happening in the body is that the immune system is being triggered. And maybe initially it's not that bad, but as the years and the decades go on, it becomes a bigger and bigger problem for the body. And I actually had a client back in September who finally went and got her implants removed. And now we're working on, cleaning up the environment within the body, doing like different rounds of parasite cleansing to really kind of clean stuff up. And when she came to me, she was like very exhausted, not a lot of energy, which is not unusual. And just like not feeling good in her body whatsoever. So it is so important to look at all of these things and then start to remove the barriers to health. So for me, the way that I looked at removing the amalgams was I was like, there's this thing that I know is on some level leaching mercury into the body. How much? I don't know. I mean, I'm taking this every single day for well over a year, but I still knew that there was this other thing happening in the background. So then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get the fillings out. and then I'm just going to work on detoxification. And so someone, Lori wrote, I had a friend who had reconstruction back in the 90s. The silicone implants leaked and it wreaked havoc on her health. Yes. Unfortunately, that is a story that I hear all too often. And it doesn't have to be, unfortunately, especially the beauty industry, they will play on women's fears of looking a certain way, of presenting themselves a certain way. And they encourage us to put toxic makeup, toxic skincare, have like all of these toxic habits. And all of those things, the chemicals, especially from the makeup, the skincare, the microplastics in food and clothing and all of these things, they're endocrine disrupting, and some of them are cancer causing, and some of them are both actually. And most of these chemicals are not studied. They get approved. There's about 2,000, I'm sure you've heard me say this before, there's about 2,000 chemicals that get approved every single year by the FDA, and they are not clinically tested. And it doesn't even matter if a chemical is tested in isolation in a lab. It does not matter, because when you go out into the real world, people aren't exposed to one chemical. We're all exposed to literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of chemicals on a daily basis. And those chemicals can be in our food, our water, it could be in the air that we're breathing, fabrics that we're wearing on our body, as well as makeup, skincare. So this is why it is really, really important. I don't want you to get overwhelmed as you're hearing this information and go, oh my God, I got to change everything. This is how I swapped out the toxic products for the non-toxic products. As I ran out of certain things, I decided to upgrade to non-toxic skincare, non-toxic makeup. The clothing is the hardest one, right? If you wear Lululemons or if you wear clothes that have like spandex, lycra, all those things, those are synthetic materials. And they do have like a component of microplastics within them. And one of the things that I noticed is I would go work out, I would go do a run or a walk or something like that. And when I would take my leggings off, there would be welts on my legs because my skin was reacting to the chemicals within the fabric. And so I have been steadily swapping out clothing and swapping it out with, organic cotton, hemp has been another one, linen has been another one. And sometimes I don't buy certain things because I'm like, well, that's a synthetic fabric. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to myself. And then even in terms of like, I upgraded my food 5.5 years ago, right? There's a reason why I use the superfoods that I use, because I wanted to get away from GMOs. and 70 to 80% of what you buy in a grocery store is GMO. And I know that the superfoods line that I work with is non-GMO, and it's better. It has stricter standards than organic. There's no chemicals, there's no additives, there's no fillers. You can look for it in the captions because there's a 25% off code that you can use in the US and Canada. But yeah, you can also upgrade your water, like make sure that you have some type of a house filter. Like we have a house filter, and then we have a second filter, and then I'm always using my molecular hydrogen bottle to drink my water. There's so much that you can do, and it is really, really important that you become aware of all of the ways that your body is being exposed to chemical toxicity, and then start to swap things out. Like even our skin is our largest organ. And so whatever is in the atmosphere can get absorbed into your skin, especially if it is a water soluble toxin, right? We ourselves are mostly water. And this is what makes glyphosate so dangerous, right? And so it is really, really important to empower yourself, to educate yourself, and then start to make those swaps. It won't happen overnight. It's probably going to take years. Like when it comes to clothing, it's going to probably take years and years to swap things out. But definitely for like next time you run out of shampoo, look for a non-toxic option. Next time you run out of laundry detergent, I've been using like a non-toxic laundry detergent now for years. I don't use dryer sheets. To me, that's the most ridiculous thing. And I could go, I think I can't remember if there's a video that's going to be coming out about chemical toxicity, or maybe I recorded that for my membership. But number one, become aware of how you're allowing all this chemical toxicity to come into your body. Number two, slowly start to swap things out, make those intelligent swaps. And number three, you must detoxify, because all this garbage is sitting in your body and it's stressing out your liver and your kidneys. And so you got to detoxify. I always say detoxify in order to regenerate. Your body cannot regenerate itself if it's having to deal with all this high chemical toxic load because of all the stuff you've been putting into your body for the past few decades, not paying attention. And I am a big, big proponent, and I know other people who do this type of work who believe similarly. And the reason that I've come to this conclusion is just from doing the work. I'm a big believer that you must do an intensive detox every single year. If you are not doing that, you are doing your body a disservice. So that's it for today. Thanks for being here. And for anybody catching the replay, thanks for being here. And feel free to make sure that you look at the resources below the video. I'm actually recently partnered with non-toxic beauty lines as well. So that's going to be linked up in the resources shortly. I have like all kinds of resources of how you can start to swap things out, and also how you can detoxify. And if you want a step-by-step approach, the best option is really my membership, Elevate. There I guide you through like transitioning your diet and just starting to starting to go systematically, making sure that you're doing things in the proper order to support your body. Because I understand that sometimes people get super, super impatient and they just want to dive in, but it is really important to properly prepare your body so that you're doing what is necessary, but without overwhelming your system. So I hope you found this live to be helpful. If you have any questions, you can of course drop them below the video. And I look forward to seeing you on next week's lives. Thanks so much for being here. Bye for now.